Where is your mask? Today we are going to look at this executive order by the Livingston City Manager. This order has already gone into effect, and I expect it will be ratified by the City Council at the next council meeting. One of the things we will be looking at is to see if it's really a mask you will need, or if a more generic form of face cover will fit the bill. So here I am in my COVID-19 hunker in the bunker, and how you have to dress when you're around town, fashion statement. I got my hat on, shade my eyes, got my glasses on to protect from glare, and I've got this homemade mask to protect me from whatever is supposed to be floating around in the air out there. So the first thing we're going to do is take a real brief look here at this page right here. This is mostly history, stuff that's already happened in the past. If you like, you can stop the video wherever you want to and read it for yourself, but I'm not going to read everything word for word. But here we show that this whole saga starts at December 31st, 2019. Then more stuff happened in January, and more stuff happened in February. And even more stuff happened in February and in March 4th, March 11th, March 12th, March 13th, until we hit to March 13th, 2020, where the health officer for the county of Merced declared that the imminent introduction of COVID-19 to Merced County was a threat to public health and declared a local health emergency that covered the county. And then down here it says a little more, March 13th, 2020, Merced County Director of Emergency Services proclaimed a local emergency to exist throughout Merced County. Now we're getting on towards March 14th. We have the Emergency Operations System established. Livingston City Council proclaims a local emergency. City of Livingston adopts an emergency order requiring residents to comply with the county order. After that, on the 26th, the City Council ratified that proclamation. Then the City of Livingston canceled all social gatherings, events, activities, programs, and gatherings in the city. We go down a little bit more until the city closed to the public, Livingston City Hall, Livingston Police Department building, Livingston Fire Station, and all other administrative offices of the city until further notice. In other words, closed to the public. Then the city closed all public city parks until further notice. March 19th, the governor's stay-home order. March 20th, Merced County Department of Public Health issued a health stay-at-home order. Now what I want to do is I want to skip down to the very bottom paragraph of this and read this last paragraph. Whereas federal, state, and local health authorities have recommended that medical workers and first responders wear available hospital-grade masks such as surgical masks or N95 respirators. So the medical personnel and first responders are supposed to be wearing the medical grade stuff. Let's go on. April 1st, CDPH issued guidance recommending the use of face coverings. Notice that word, face coverings. April 4th, CDC recommended wearing cloth face coverings. Once again, the words cloth face coverings. Cover your mouth, cover your nose with cloth. Not a medical grade mask necessarily, but cloth. April 7th, Merced County Department of Public Health issued the following guidance. All residents are strongly encouraged to wear a Cloth face covering. Once again, face covering, cloth, not, doesn't have to be a medical grade mask, just cloth that fits your face. Cloth face covering is defined as any cloth that can be used to cover as tightly as possible the mouth and nose of the wearer. I mean, I read that to mean that you could wrap a t-shirt around your face as long as it covers your nose and covers your mouth as tightly as possible, you're good to go. Let's skip down. April 8th, the Merced County Department of Public Health issued an enhanced health officer order that strengthened the prior order and made life a little bit more constricted. Whereas, in the interest of public health and safety as affected by the emergency called by the spread of COVID-19 in our community, it is necessary to exercise my authority pursuant to this section of the Government Code and this section of the Livingston Municipal Code to issue the following order related to the protection of life and property within the city of Livingston. In other words, because of all that in the past, I'm going to do this. Now, therefore, I, Jose Antonio Ramirez, the Director of the Disaster Council of the City of Livingston, do hereby do this. Bet you didn't know that the city manager is also the director of the disaster council, or that we even had a disaster council in the city of Livingston. That would be a whole different video on its own. But let's get down to the order. And basically what I'm going to do is just try to translate each particular following paragraph into just plain old-fashioned English for us plain old-fashioned normie type people. 1. Paragraph number 1 means basically, this means everybody. Paragraph number 2, this means all essential businesses, you've got to have a protocol, you need to post the sign. So 2A was basically you need a protocol and you need to put it by the entrance where people can see it. B, make sure it does the job. C, be able to prove it does the job. D, if it's not working, fix it, or you might have to close your business. 3, this is what essential businesses need to do. A, everybody wears cloth face coverings. B, everybody that comes inside needs to be wearing a face covering. C, only 5 customers or visitors per 1,000 square feet of indoor space. Now, I was just at Walmart recently, and they had someone at the door with an iPad keeping track of how many people were coming in and how many people were going out. And they were only letting in about 315 people in at a time inside the store based on their square footage. So the number of people that are going to be allowed inside each individual store in Livingston is going to be highly dependent on the square footage. Let's go to D. Plexiglass at cash registers is encouraged but not required. 4. Wear a mask when you go buy stuff or receive essential services. I want to point out that clause to obtain essential services and goods and focus on that verb to obtain. So I'm reading that as meaning, no, just because in your front yard doesn't mean you have to wear a face covering. If you're all by yourself walking downtown, you don't necessarily have to be wearing a face covering as long as you're practicing proper social distancing. And if I've got that wrong, I hope someone will correct me. But it doesn't mean, from what I'm understanding, it doesn't mean you have to wear it outside all the time, everywhere you go. Just when you're going inside a building to obtain essential services or goods. Let's go to 5. This order shall be effective immediately, and if ratified by the City Council, it will remain in effect until May 30th, 2020, unless it is rescinded, superseded, amended, or extended in writing by the Director of Disaster Council of the City of Livingston. Notwithstanding the foregoing, the city shall not impose penalties for violations of this order until Thursday, April 23rd, 2020. So what that tells me is this is the kind of order that the city manager can impose, and then it's up to the city council to ratify it and lengthen it out. Let's go to 6. This order is issued based on evidence of increasing transmission of COVID-19, both within the city of Livingston and worldwide. That tells me maybe we have a case or two within Livingston, but we haven't hit the 5 yet that the county is using for individual city reporting. So I'm going to shorten all this up to it, meaning that the whole purpose of all this is to reduce the likelihood of exposure to COVID-19, address the strain upon the healthcare system, and comply with the guidance issued by the Merced County Health Officer recommending the use of a cloth face covering when leaving the house for essential activities. Let's go to 10. I'm going to read the whole thing there. Violation of this order is a crime and may also be pursued as an administrative fine, an infraction, or a misdemeanor in the city's sole and absolute discretion. In other words, you're going to have to argue with the city manager about that, or maybe contact your favorite city council member and argue with them. Number 11 says that copies of this shall be posted, and it also lists where you can find an actual posting of it. And if you want a copy, you can have one. Item 12 is your standard severability clause. In other words, if the court throws out one or more of these paragraphs, all the rest of them still stand as written. So, what do you think about all this? Let me know in the comments. If you're subscribed to the channel already, you might want to check and make sure you're still subscribed so you're notified whenever a new video goes live. And subscribe if you're new. Until next time, this is the gardening snail of Livingston, California, because not every critter is hiding under a rock.